Hi everybody. Hope you're ready to start A&P2. When you log into the class, hopefully you see this home page. On the top of the home page are the recent announcements. You really should make sure you read those. Then there's general course materials, answers to everything. Check that out. You really should read it. It's got a lot of good information. Anyway, when you're ready to get started with the first goal or outcome now is the endocrine system. The endocrine system is all about the hormones. What you should do first, print out or download this outline. You can take notes in it. It's got all the words on the PowerPoint presentations that you will be listening to and watching, and if you have those, you won't have to take as many notes because all the main words are already on there. All the words and all the stuff you need to know is not on the PowerPoint slides. You actually need to listen and take notes like you would in class. So, print out the outline or download it to Word. It's in Word. Download it to your computer. Open up the first PowerPoint, and you can either open up the PowerPoint directly and just look at the slides, and in the notes versions you might see some of the words, but better, open the module that says recording. It's going to open up in a new window, looks like this, and once you hit play, you will hear my voice, so it will start to play. This one is almost 14 minutes long, and you can stop and repeat or slow down. Watch that, take notes. Okay? Once you have finished doing that, remember that there are three modules for the endocrine system, so you'll have to listen to the first one, the second one, and the third one. You'll have notes. Now at that point, you can go read the textbook. I highly recommend doing the notes first, but if you want to read first, there it is. I took this from the OpenStax free textbook, kind of modified it to fit our class, and it's in a Word document. You can have that read to you if you want, something to listen to while you're in the car. So much fun. Anyway, that's a good way to get the lecture information, and hopefully you'll be able to skim it because you've already listened to the PowerPoints. Another way you can get the information is click on this, what's called the endocrine lesson. And I basically took the book and I put it into a document that contains the information, but every once in a while you can stop and do a little activity, drop and drag. So it's a more interactive way to learn the information. And again, you can kind of skim over this because hopefully you have understood it now because you have listened to all the lectures already, or listened to all the recordings. Alright, so we go back to the home page. You have now taken notes, listened to the PowerPoint, you kind of read over some information, so you're feeling pretty good. Now go do the labs. In the Goal 1, the endocrine system, there are 2 labs. You can probably do the endocrine physiology lab after the second module. You wouldn't have to wait to do the third, but there's a little recording on how to do it. There's some sheets that you need to look at because basically you got to figure out which rat got which hormone. Once you've done the lab, you should be able to complete the endocrine physiology lab quiz. Read the lab book. There's directions in there, and it will help lead you through. The lab book is really where the most information is. There's just some extra here in Canvas. This goal, we also teach you a little bit about scientific method. So there's a little PowerPoint there for you to watch for that. And then a scientific method quiz to make sure you actually know what you're doing. The third lab, or the second lab, is Lab 2. This is based on an article that I found several years ago. I have now embedded it into the lab book. That's a little different this year than from previous, but this little recording explains what they actually did, because nobody wants to read the full article. It's like 15 pages long. There it is if you want it, but it's a scientific paper and it can make your brain go a little liquidy. So listening to the recording on what I did or what they did in this experiment and then reading just the abstract, one paragraph, will pretty much tell you basically what happens in that paper. And you're going to do this lab and answer some questions in your lab book, and the last part of it, you're going to do a little experiment on yourselves. You're going to drink caffeine and see if it makes your heart rate go up, and you're going to record that in Teams. So in the Teams page or in your app, when you open up that app and you click on your teams, all the teams you belong to, and I belong to way too many, are listed there, and this is ours. So when you open up the Teams, it'll be in the general posts, and there was the lab book pickup I sent last week. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but if you go under Files and you let it sit there a minute, because it's got to think, there is the data sheet for the caffeine lab. And so you click on that and it'll open up an Excel file which everybody can add to, and I put my name in there, and I drank Mountain Dew and measured my heart rate, my resting heart rate before I drank, and then every 5 minutes, like what it tells you to do. And down here is going to be a running average. Right now it's just the same as my numbers because you guys haven't added your stuff yet. So as people add, the changes will occur on the averages, and we'll see if we if our hypothesis is proven true or false. Okay, so there's your Teams page with files. You're welcome to post things here, post questions and answer each other, or I will answer them. It's another way for us to communicate. All right, back to the module here. As you can see, there's the Rat Lab Explained, there's the full article, and there's the assignment after. As I see you add your data, I will put in points. Then step 4 in the module, and every module is set up like this, are different ways that you can review the information, study the information. You may or may not use this stuff. There's some study sheets. The hormone study sheet is in your lab manual. There's another one, a pathway of hormones, maybe a good picture for you to use, some websites, YouTubes. Anyway, there's also a review test. I would highly recommend you take that. It's not worth any points to see if you know the information. If you think you're comfortable, you do all right on the review test, then you can think, oh, okay, I'm ready to take the test. All right, there's a couple of other assignments. The endocrine scenario is a what-if type thing. When you have a disease, you got to kind of figure it out, and there's some links in there that you'll have to use to find information. You are welcome to do that with each other. Help each other out. You can do it 2 times. The higher score you get is the one that will be recorded. Then there's a lab quiz. The lab quiz is generally over your labs, so you got to do the labs before you do this lab quiz. There's also some questions about graphs and the scientific method on this quiz. The tests are each worth 25 points. They are timed 1 minute per question. They are in lockdown browsers, so you can't go copy and paste it into AI, which is what happened this summer. So they're now in lockdown browser. The first time you take a test or a quiz that requires lockdown browser, it will prompt you to download it. Basically what it means is your computer's going to be locked into the test, and you won't be able to go use any other website. Okay, so if you have notes electronically, you'll have to print them out or have them in some other way that you can look at them. That test is timed 1 minute per question. There's 25 questions. Okay, and it's all about the endocrine system. There are a pool of questions, so everybody will get a different set. So that's pretty much how you do each module. You can work through them as fast as you want. Obviously, you need to complete all of this stuff by the 31st of August. So you have 16 days. You can get started anytime. Please email me anytime you have a question. I'll be glad to help you on whatever I can. We'll be setting up virtual cadaver sessions through Teams. At some time over the semester, you need to do that 2 times with me. If you can't, then you have to listen to the recording and write a 10-point summary. You have to do 2. You can write 2. You can come to 2. If you come, you don't have to write any summaries. You can come to 1 and listen to 1 recording and write a summary, but you need to do 2 over the semester. I will try to time these different times during the week, because I know you're all working and have very busy lives, and the reason you're taking online is because you don't have time to come to class. And so I want to make sure I try to hit a variety of times, so at some point one will work out for you. Again, call me anytime, or email me, or text me, or put a post in Teams. You can email through Canvas or directly to my email.